Hello YouTube modeling community. This is Rusty Rotor. Thursday, it's an update. This is part, let's see, that was 8, 9. This is part 9, or 10 and 11, I guess. I'm trying to keep it in order here. It'll be in the descriptions for you to see which one it is. I'm pretty sure it's 9 and 10. But I already took the liberty, because I had to do some things around the shop today. Get my sandpaper all cut up, stocked up in my little box that I keep it in. So we went ahead and wet sanded the Charger. Went really good. Usually I burn through somewhere, but by the time I got done, I was getting kind of thin in a couple areas, so it still looks good, and we can proceed. The next step is polishing. I've had a lot of people ask me how I do it, if I color sand. Now, understand, I've heard the term color sand. I don't know what it entails. Somebody can, school me on it. My method is wet sanding, starting from a certain grit all the way up to the finest grit I can get. And then I polish, machine polish. I have a miniature polisher that goes on my Dremel tool wand, and I can change the types of pads that go on it. And I'm gonna show you all that stuff too. But and this first section is just going to be the wet sanding. And I'm going to go over it real quick. We'll take a little pause. It'll be a while for me, but it'll just be a few seconds for you. And then we have some other things. Richard Petty's crew showed up yesterday afternoon. The car's here. We're going to take a look at it tomorrow. And some other goodies that came. So we'll take a look at all that tomorrow. I did just pull another commission build again for my brother-in-law. He saw the ramp truck and everything that was going on with that. So now I'm doing another ramp truck, but Budweiser theme. So we got the a Budweiser kit coming and a ramp truck kit for that. Now, when I say commission, this isn't from sponsor. I'm purchasing it from my sponsor, but I'm paying out of pocket for that. There's no deal on that, but and then my brother-in-law pays me for doing it. But we will be doing that on the channel too. That's going to be worked on mostly on the side. Both of them will be completely box stock. No bells and whistles. I won't be opening the cargo doors on his. It'll just be straight ramp truck, NASCAR sitting on top of it. I'll probably put some extra tires up on the rack as a detail. And I think I have another extra NASCAR engine somewhere in my stash that I could probably throw together and put it on the thing, just kind of for looks. But I'll update you as I go on that and show you my progress on it. But it just won't be in depth till the very end, anyways. So wet sanding, I start. With this one, remember, I had a couple heavy spots of clear, so I had to knock that down first, and I used 1500 grit, a sand sponge. It's Tamiya, so I just hit that little area until I was comfortable and liked where I knew I could take it down the rest of the way with the other grits, and it worked. We got the spot out, no harm, no foul. And then, like I said, I usually start off with around 3,000 and go up to 12,000. Well, I'm out of 12,000, so 10,000 is where I stopped today. But I started off with 2,500 just because the heavy areas, you just want to stage it up little by little, because by the time you get done, you should actually have quite a bit of the shine back in the paint. I mean, it's still dull. It's not like it was, but by knocking it down and bring it up, I mean, this thing is baby smooth, and that's what I want. Now, there is some orange peel here and there, but my stages and polishing should take a lot more of that out, and the finished product should be a nice, smooth, shiny results. I don't use the typical products that everybody else uses. I do have them, and I do use them from time to time. I have a method that I use. this, and this is the scary part. A lot of people don't like to put, many polish on it. You just got to remember is you're just, I've got the RPMs down, and I'm just letting the sponge do the work. I'm not pushing. I'm not, beveling it in, and I'm staying off the edges, just like if I was wet sanding. That way, the polisher's polishing the finish, and I do it in stages according to what I need. I don't do it over the whole car. Some areas may need a little heavier or a double dose, and some areas may only need one swipe with it. But you're going to get to see that. I'll do a little part and then I'll finish it off camera because this would be too long. I drag these things out long enough as they are. But like I said, I start normally at 3,000 and go up to 12,000. Today I started at 1,500 just for the one area, and then I went back over that area of 2,500, and then I went over the whole body with 2,500. Same way with the hood. Then 3,000, 5,000, 7,000, 8,000, and 10,000, and that's where I stopped. And that's, I don't know how well. I'll hold it at a little bit of an angle. I brought quite a bit of the shine back just by the finer grits. So it's not going to take a lot of polishing to get it to, pop right back out. I could use Tamiya polishes and probably do this by hand. But for demonstration, we're going to use the hood. That way, if I F it up, I can strip this down. I got enough paint. I can reshoot it, re-clear it, and, go on with the project. The project, as far as it goes right now, pretty much in the same place. I've been doing a lot of 3D printing, guys, the past couple days. I've not been focusing too much on any one little thing, plus some things I had to do outside of my house. But I'm getting things stored, like you can see there behind me. I got some of the drawers labeled and, filling them with 3D printed parts. A better shot. There you go. So, there's other things to do. I pick certain days to really just do modeling all day long, or, whatever project I'm working on. Today is a good example. I'll be working on this commission build pretty much all day, now that I got my other stuff done. So, the wet sanding, just keep in mind, when you're sanding, just let the sandpaper do the pressure. You're just holding it there with your fingers. You're not pushing down. You're not trying to, like you would on wood and sand that edge down. You're go back and forth with that sandpaper. Dry it off, come back and look at it. Go over it again if you need to. Rinse, repeat, or rinse, lather, repeat. It's the same boring, no fun process. I've never heard one guy say they like to polish. Maybe if it's a piece of brass or, something like that where there's no really risk involved as far as burning through the plastic and, ruining your paint job or anything like that. This is the last step where I take, other than maybe dropping it, take an issue of messing up the paint job and having to start all over. So that's why I generally like to do the bodies first. When I open a kit, I get everything out. I wash everything. I take my parts off. I get pretty much everything in primer. And then, set aside what I'm going to hand paint, and then get into the spray booth and, primer everything, and then start on the body. I like to get the body out of the way. I know it's done. I can put it in something, seal it, keep dust off of it until I'm done with the kit. Because then the last thing I'm doing is, and when I say get body all the way done, I mean all the way done. Like the bumpers on it, all the trim painted, all the marker lights, the headliner, the glass in it, the rear view mirror if it has it, all that, the body 100% done. Mind you, some bodies you can, like this one, I put the rear panel in because I'm going to go in this way with the chassis. That means I'll leave the front bumper off. And that valance. The valance will be next to last, and the front bumper will be very last. But that's once I marry the chassis to the body. That way, I'm done mocking up. This won't get mocked up anymore until it gets married to the chassis. As much fun as it is, I like doing it, is, you know, getting to look at it and see how it's going to look. This isn't mine, so I don't want to take a chance at this point of, you know, having to go back through and touch up, and then a little bit of clear, and you know, that starts adding up, and then it becomes real noticeable. A couple of little spots is not a big deal. Even at shows, if you built something for show and you got a little nick, I mean, you can certainly, like, you can see one right there. That's from mocking the body up, it rubbing against the chassis. I don't want to keep doing that because it'll eventually work down and be on the bottom. But if I was going to take this to a show, I could get in there with a little of the touch-up paint. Where'd it go? I'm doing everything backwards here. Ha 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 ha. I could touch that up with a little bit of the touch-up paint, and none the wiser. You know what I'm saying? So, and I could use a little future floor polish and put a little dab over that to shine it up a little bit, let it dry out, and, you know, none the wiser. Once I'm done today, I'll get the panel line wash in it. I'll be using black. I'll be doing the trunk, the door panels, up across the top of the fenders, and then of course the vent up here. Nothing else on the body. Nothing on the hood. I have to paint the little marker lights that are molded into the hood. They're really hard to see. They weren't real defined as far as detail, but they're there. So I'm just going to put on my magnifiers and get in there and, you know, knock it out. Then it'll be time to do the trim. And like I said, that's where I'll take a mask. I only work on one side at a time. Put my tape down, get my edge, get my back edge back here covered, you know, all the way up and around, and I'll bring it to the front down here across the cowl, whatever you want to call it, where the wiper blades go and your outdoor to indoor vent is, because that way I can run my trim when I Molotow. I can go all the way down, I can do the cozy wing, I can come up here and hit the outside edge of that rain gutter, and then I can come right around and do the lower half of the windshield. Back here, this will be masked off, so all I gotta do is run a piece of tape across here, sorry guys, back here, and then I can hit the lower piece of the rear window, and then I'll run a little piece up the side and do here, and then I'll tape here. I want to keep tape off of this because this is a matte finish, and if I leave something on there for a while and I get busy, I have to go do something else, then I have to fight that tape, the sticky part, and it doesn't do well on a matte finish. It came out, I mean, you can see. It's just, if you got up real close, you can see a little spot of it, and I don't want to keep doing that. So it's work one side, take the tape off, let it dry. Then when that dries, I can come over here on the other side and do the same thing, only I'll be doing the upper half here, along with this down the A-pillar, the back side of the A-pillar, top side of the door, the rain gutter. Then when that dries, I can come on the inside, down in here, and hit the top of this, top of the door frame. And then when all that's dry and it can be handled, and you still have to be very careful because, like I say, Molotow wears off. I will probably come back over that with a water-based varnish. Sorry, guys. And then I will paint the headliner. And then once all that's dry, that's a couple days down the road. Once that's all dried, then I can go ahead and hit and get my marker lights done. I got a decal that goes over here for the Plymouth emblem, or Dodge emblem, whatever it is, Chrysler. Get that on there, and then put a little dab of clear, gloss varnish over that to protect it. I still got to hit these with matte varnish, and then I can get the gas cap on. That'll get black wash just to pull off the detail on it because it's chrome. Get the tail lights in it. I can get the rear bumper on it. Get the glass in it. then she's ready. Then she'll just get set aside until the interior and the chassis is ready to go, which the interior and chassis are ready. I just got to finish up the engine. And, you know, there are little pieces here and there that I go down a rabbit hole and figure something else out to add to it. So it's all a process. I'm not rushed on this. I can stop at any time and, you know, fiddle with other stuff. But I'm working on both, the ramp truck and this at the same time. So it keeps me busy. And when I'm in here, I like being busy, but there's times I also like just dedicating my time to one project. And that's why I split this stuff up into days. So you guys seen that. You know, I don't have to sit here and show you how to wet sand. You know, I've told you, and I mean, I'm holding this up there. I wish, maybe we get the light down here. There we go, a little bit. It's going to be glary on me, but you guys can see. I mean, look at the shine just in that. I mean, it's, and we'll turn the camera around here and get up close. This way, camera works a lot better. So you can see how it's, you know, there's the orange peel worked out. I mean, that's about as far as I can get it out. And once I polish it, it'll pull some more of that out, so it won't be as noticeable. And there's areas that's not as bad, but everything's sanded, you know, looking good. I mean, it's so smooth. Just stuff. If I had 12,000, and if they made anything higher, I could actually polish this out with sandpaper and bring the shine back. I've seen guys do that on real cars, and then, you know, machine buff it and with a light polish and come back and hand wax the car and be done. It's just all in your processes, how you want to do it. And you just know when you get to this stage, be patient, go slow. Your water should have a little Dawn dish soap in it. That helps the barrier between the sandpaper and the car. It slides easier. You're not hitting that grit hard to the paint, and you don't want to put a lot of pressure just in one direction. I mean, you can go back and forth, but, you know, when you come down and you do your final sand, you know, sand it this way. Work it one direction, or if you want to work from the back to the front, it doesn't matter. Just, you know, keep your hand going in one direction. That way, if you go to look for scratch marks, you still don't see none, do you? And I mean, I've got you up on there. You would see them if they were there, especially with the clear being done. That's because I go one direction and not the band. I hate, but, you know, not in circular motion, because when you go to machine polish, this is circular and it's working around, but you're still, I'm going to move that this way, that way, this, you know, front to back, because it's spinning this way. So it's kind of getting both, cross-hatching, you know, when you're polishing, which is really good. And I've machine buffed real cars for years. I owned a detail shop years ago, and, you know, I did it every single day. I'd take cars right out, you know, after they've been freshly painted, and wet sand them all the way down, and then polish it back to where it's like glass. So, you know, I've got the experience, and a lot of people don't, and this is, you know, how I'm relating to you. So, you know, when I worked in the it was a detail shop that I worked at first and learned how to do it. I started off, you know, it was different grits, but you start off, my final grit on a car was like 3,000 on a real car. And then I went to polishing. So, you know, there's difference, but it's same steps. If you apply those same steps to your model and be patient and know that it's just plastic and you don't want to burn through anything and have to start all over, just take your time. Don't put pressure. Just back and forth. Let that sandpaper do the work. Come back after you did an area. I chalk it out. So, like, I started up here and I got that heavy area out. Okay. Then I sanded this whole area up here. That way I got all the, like putting paint on. You're putting paint on in layers. I'm taking clear off in layers. Hopefully to get down to, you know, get that orange peel out of there. That's why I put, you know, 5 coats of clear on here, so I could take away, you know, 2 to 3 coats and still have a couple good coats on here. But, you know, if you're comfortable, just do, you know, the fender and the top of the fender. Just stay off this edge or any of these edges, you know, around it. because it'll burn through. I don't care what grit you're on or what, just lightly go, then dry it off. Get it in good light, take a look at it. If you're like me, put your glasses on, because you can't see shit without it. Sorry for the cussing, but and then I'll do the door, and I work my way back, and then I'll do the top of the trunk. In this case, I stayed off this top edge of this spoiler. I stayed off the rear valance. It's just too many differences in heights and bumps, and the clear laid nice on that, so there's no need to even mess with it. And it's down. You know, once that bumper's on, it's sitting underneath the bumper. You're not going to see it, except for when you look at it in the very back, and it looks good. I mean, you can see it right there. It's boom. You know, it's nice and shiny. So I would have rather had this a matte black, but I wasn't going through all that hassle of retaping off, you know, masking in here, and then shooting this with a matte over top of it to dull it down. It just too much, and it don't look bad. I mean, what you guys can tell me what you think. I get up here in the light a little bit more. No, it's not helping nothing. You know, it's nice and shiny, and that's okay. I'd rather had it matte black. Now, if I was doing the hood flat black or matte black, I definitely would have made this matte black. But that's how you do it. You know, and that way you can stop. And I always set my sandpaper here. I'll show you. So here's my sandpaper. I started off with the 1500, 2500, 3000, 5000, 7000, 8000, 10,000. I get 3 pieces of each out just in case I need it. These are all my pieces I used. I let them dry back out because you can reuse this. This isn't over with. It's not garbage. I'll use this another 2 or 3 times before it's worn out and not usable anymore. But I set it out on a paper towel and let it dry, and then I put them in a different area. This goes over here. Oh, this doesn't. But I'll put these back in the box. 1500 I'll go back in the box because it's dry now, and it didn't even hurt it. And I always set my model on a paper towel or an old towel. That way you don't scratch the bottom of the car up moving around or the side of the car. Just some key points. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop this video here, and we'll get set up for the polishing. And then we'll come back, and like I said, I'll do the hood, and then I'll do the rest of it off camera. So you'll get a you know, good view of what it looks like. So we'll be right back, guys. All right, we're back. I got my handy dandy apron on, because this thing's just like in real life. If you were using a buffer, this thing will sling wax and crap everywhere. And I'm going to do it down low because I don't want to get it up here on the workbench. Because like I said, this is my primary build area, and this is where I'm working on the ramp truck, so I don't want wax all over everything, even though the frame is done on it, so I don't want to get wax on it. The body, I can wash it off. It's not a big deal, but I just don't want to mess stuff up, make more work for myself. So we have the hood here. You guys can see that. I got a hair driving me nuts. All right, you didn't need to know that. TMI, I get it. So here, I showed it to you before. This is my wand. I just use a cheap off-brand tack. This thing works great though, and was a quarter of what an actual Dremel would cost. I also have the micro, you know, version. I can use this as well. I mean, it gets up there, but polishing with this, it doesn't last long. It wears it down. There's a new one out that I want to try that's more powerful and lasts longer on the charge, so I've yet to get that. That's another tool. So like I said, you know, you got to start off what you can afford, balling on a budget, and then work your way up. Now you can see this pad, I've pretty much worn this out. I only use this one now for like wax when I do the carnauba. I'll rub it on with my finger, then I use this, and just, because this is the soft one, I come right off of it. And it's Velcro, so it sticks. This is how I keep everything, so I know what I got. I mean, I can use this for a real car too. I mean, I get up underneath the door handles and polish out the little light scratches. from time to time. There's cloth, or the hard cotton ones, and then there's waxing pads in there, more hard, you know, just depending on what surface you're working on. For today's experiment, we will be using red. This is the softest. I do not want to burn through this paint job, so we're going to use the smoothest one I have. And then it's just as simple as, boom, putting it on there. Push down on it. You can push down hard just to make sure you got a good, you don't want this to go on yourself. So, I'm going to turn it around and I'll show you my polishes. These you can get on Amazon. It comes in a whole kit. You get all these things with it. You get a wand with the kit. It was like $30-something. I got this wand. I got all the attachments, all the pads. I got all these polishes, some of them, 2 of them. So if I got a real hard area, I use the rubbing compound, and then I step up just like wet sanding. Supreme polish, mirror treatment, and this, I like this the best, the platinum coating film. This protects the paint. It's kind of like a like they're using now, the ceramic coating. It's real similar to that. It's not as good as ceramic, but it's, you know, close second, in my opinion. If this polish isn't getting it, which it's not, it has in the past not worked right, I go to my all-time favorite, Meguiar's Ultimate Polish. Then, oh, I didn't get it out. We gotta get it in here. And then my favorite, Mother's. It's just, I usually get the liquid, but the liquid, I don't use it so much, so it starts gumming up and getting crappy. So I got the can, it's a gel. It's a cleaner wax. So when I get my cars out of the case to show you guys, you know, this is what I'm doing. It's a cleaner wax. So I'm just going over it real quick, use a rag, polish it off, and then I show you the guys the Ronalds. Because like I said, some of those I've not wet sanded yet or polished out. I usually do every model, you know, all the steps I've been showing you, and then I polish it out, and then I put this on it, and then if I go to a show with it, then I use the Novus #1. I think that's the one it's called. I don't want to say something that's not right. I do use the Novus 2. Yeah, Novus 1 before any model show. This helps deter some dust and crap, and it puts a nice little shine back, you know, in a dull area too. I have the Tamiya polishes, the fine and ultra fine. I have all 3 Novuses. So there's a lot of products I use, and it just depends. I know when I start, if this, you know, if I'm not getting anything, then I know I got to come back and I got to cut deeper. I'll use the rubbing compound. I try to stay away from that because it's this is so small. Supreme polish usually works really good, and this is what we're going to start off with today. So we're going to shake the living hell out of it. And then hopefully some comes out. So you know, when that happens, don't take no chance of splattering yourself. And a clean microfiber towel, important. If you can find microfiber towels, like big ones, cheap, buy them. Cut them up into washcloth size things, and then take maybe 6 of those and then cut them up into tiny little squares that, you know, 2 fingers can fit on. That way you can get into small tight areas without dragging a big rag across and take a chance of it grabbing something and snapping it off. Just a little side tip. You know, these I keep just to do my polishing and wipe it off. But I do have some that are cut up a little small. And then you can buy these bags that are like mesh, and I put all those in it, and then I zip it closed, and I throw that in the washing machine. That way I can wash them. Because if you throw them in there by themselves, your washer's going to eat it. Anyways, dab on my finger. I don't want a lot because I do this in stages. So then I just, like I'm waxing the car, I put it on, and I want to stay away from the center ridge of that hood and around the ridge of the inlets of the hood. And paper towel to wipe your finger off with. Okay. So I need to always double check your setting. You don't want to throw high RPM on it. You're going either it's going to grab and throw the hood and snap it and tear it all to pieces, or burn straight through your paint job. So always double check, just like a gun, any tool. Make sure the safety's on before you're plugged in and you're whipping it around. You don't want it to go off or come on and cause an injury. Safety first. I have to wear my old man specs for this, so pardon me. I kind of like me in glasses. Yeah. This is kind of noisy, and we're going to try to figure out something here. I'm going to bring you down. That ain't going to work. That might. Yeah, that'll work. I'm going to keep you on this direction. Well, you know what? We can turn you around. Let me check something real quick, guys. I just want to make sure that the viewing... Yeah, no. So, you guys can get a better shot. So I'm going to turn this on. Like I said, it's going to get a little noisy. Let me get a little... There we go. Here we go. It's not super loud. I mean, you could easily do this and your wife be asleep, and as long as you're in a separate room, it wouldn't bother. So like I said, I just come in slow on a nice flat area. Then I start working it, and like I said, I want to stay away from that ridge, so I come down. You can kind of see, I kind of come down the side of that ridge, the center ridge, that way I don't get on it. You can hear it bog down a little bit. That's okay. We don't want to speed up. I can come off of it and it'll speed back up. No pressure, I'm just letting it. Boom, look at that, guys. This stuff is a no-name product. I didn't hear about it until I saw was breezing through YouTube and saw somebody doing it. SPTA products. They've got tutorials on Instagram and YouTube of how to use their product. And I'm telling you what, that's one pass. I got a little bit there by that ridge to hit, so I'll grab a little dab and we'll go back at it. And this stuff is really gritty when you touch it with your fingers, so you think it's like real heavy, but it's not. It's just as fine as that Meguiar's Ultimate Polish. So I'll go through here, and I keep my tool on an angle a little bit. You don't want to get too hard because it'll burn through. And I bring it back out. And get over here and hit this side. Get rid of all that off there. And I always do 2 or 3 passes each level. That way I ended up with a really good, shiny, smooth finish, like on a real car. All right. And then don't let your Dremel wand fall on the ground and grab everything in sight. So, I'm going to get this wet again, so that dried up. We'll make another pass. Like I said, let it build up the RPMs and then come in on a flat area. And then work it back and forth. Now you can, since this is the lightest foam pad, or the finest I should say, you could put a little pressure, but you don't want to put a lot, trust me. It'll burn through too, because I used this one on something else and burn through. You can also soak these in Dawn dish soap and hot soapy water and clean them. I've had these for 2 or 3 years. And I mean, I've worn out a couple, but they give you a lot in that set, and you can order replacements. Alright, so that's basically one good pass. Get in the angle, there you go, on both sides. So we'll stop it there and we'll turn this off. And we're going to take our micro polishing cloth, and we're just going same direction like if we were sanding. I don't want to take any extra grit and create scratches in the surface. So I go the same direction, just wipe everything off real good. You know, you clean your stuff out of the cracks when you're all done. And I don't want to put a lot of pressure. But I can see there's some areas, but I know the next steps are going to take that out. And you can see right there, I mean, see how it works, that what's left of that orange peel in there? Each stage, you'll keep working it out. And if you don't get it off, then you go back over it again, until you're happy with the finished product. I've not burned through yet, so we're golden. So we're gonna move on to the next bottle, which is McGuire's, because it's the fine polish too. And these two together, for some reason, for me, they work really well. So I do the same thing, only I hold my finger out, and I get a little bit on there. And I take my hood, just like if I was waxing, and I smear it all over the hood. You don't want super much, because then it will start splattering and slinging it everywhere, but I probably got a little too much, but that's okay. We're down low, so it's not going to matter. So, noise again. And we're just going to start up here in this corner, flat area, and then we're going to work it back and forth, just like if we were machine buffing. And we're not trying to get it all out in one swipe, guys. That's how you end up burning through and messing up your finish. You want to do it in stages and check everything, and then come back and do it again if you have to. Low RPM, no pressure. Just let the pad do the work, and you'll get great results. You'll be blown away the first time you do this on how good your paint job looks, if you follow all the steps. Do not skip nothing. Especially if you're going for a show and you decided you want to, you lay down good paint, you're happy with it, you wet sanded it, and you got all the junk that was in it out, and now it's looking really good. Do not skip any of these polishing steps, because if you do, it's going to reflect in your finished product. This video is going to run long, so little warning disclaimer, and that's just because there's a lot to show you here, and I could break it up in all these segments, but why? You guys can stop this video anytime and come back and finish watching it. So that's just going over it with the polisher. Now when I go to turn that off, we'll come back with our microfiber cloth, wipe in the same direction. And this is taking all the excess off too, guys, so that way you're not compounding polish on top of polish. I'm telling you what, right now I could leave it alone and not do nothing else. Ta-da! Look at that. That's just 2 stages. Now I do see there's a little orange peel up in here, so I'll do the Meguiar's again, and I'll push a little, and when I say little I mean minute pressure through there and try to work some more of that out. But look at the rest of that hood. Now you see how shiny it is now. Imagine what it's going to look like when we're done. So, and we're going to go all the way to the end. That's why I said this video is going to be long, so just bear with me. I don't expect you to watch it all at once unless you want to. Pause it, stop it, whatever, come back and finish watching it out. So now that we've done Meguiar's, we're going to do a tad bit more Meguiar's, another coat of that, just to be safer than sorry. And again, I just apply it with my finger. If you get too much on it, you can just scrape it off with your finger, and that's why I say paper towel is really handy at this point. You can take your finger and drag the excess off and wipe it off with your finger. Alright. Now, noise again. Here we go. Oops. Now I'm throwing it up on my phone. That's not good. Let me hold it down a little bit and I'll show you after I make a pass. I got it good and wet this time. And in that area I'm going to be on a little bit of an angle, and we'll come in with a little more pressure. And hopefully that works some more of it out. You never really get it out 100%, but by the time you're done polishing and waxing, it's not that noticeable at all. Kind of all blends in together. Alright, now the other side. You can even work the wand around a little bit, but just go in the same direction. You don't want to just lay it on there and let it sit there and spin, because it'll burn marks through your paint. That's why I say you want to keep it going in the same direction. And if this was my model and I was just building it to put in my display case, I would stop here. I'd put a coat of Carnauba wax on it, and I would call it good, because it's I'm building them for me, but this I'm not. I'm building for somebody else, so I'm going that extra mile. And if it was a showpiece, I would go that extra mile. I'm sorry you guys are looking at my hairy chin and my mouth, but like I said, I want to keep from slinging any of this up onto my workbench, which I'm achieving fairly decent anyways. Okay, that's 2 passes. See, and we got some more of that out. So I could do 3 and 4 passes, 6, 7, 8, 9, however many it took, until I was happy with the results. But I also know I got to go a couple more steps, so it's gonna do it. I can always go back and start with the Meguiar's again and work my way back up. It's not a set in stone process. It's just what it takes to get the results you want. But you can see it's 1 pass with the SPTA, both sides of the hood, and then 2 passes with the Meguiar's, and I already got the shine back. I really, I don't need to do anything more, but we are. So, all right, next step is the mirror treatment. And you need to set the hood down so I don't drop it. Take this up. Oop. And at this point, you want to look for a lot of buildup. If there is, let it dry a little bit. Take your finger and kind of brush it off. That way you're not mixing compounds together. You want, a clean surface. So there, we're back to good now. It's just like the old cotton pads. If you're buffing, you take that wheel and that spur and, fluff up the pad and get all the excess off of it. Same principles apply. All right. This, and we're just going to do it's easier. Take my finger in there. Oops. Same way. I probably got too much. But we're going to lay that on there just like we're wax. And you can feel the grit in this too. It's gritty, but it's nowhere near like the McGuire's or the first stuff we used, the polishing for SPTA. Say that 5 times real fast. Alright, so we're smoothed around. We're going to make some noise again. Same principle, nothing changes. With our RPMs, slow down a little bit on a flat area, work it in, and then back and forth. Don't put any pressure on those edges. Just let that foam get down in there and do its, own work. Then you can come back over it a few times until you're happy. Looks pretty good. And then we start on the other side. And down the ridge a little bit. Now you see me gliding over top of the ridge a little bit. And that's just to help knock down anything on that too. We go fast. We don't want to stay on it because it'll burn right through. Just as if you're wet sanding. Alright, so that's one pass. Almost disaster, guys. Almost. Alright, so now we're ready to polish this off and see what we got. If I don't drop this stupid thing. And when I hear that, I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, it makes a squeaky noise. I mean, that's like, that's money. That's what you want to hear. You want to hear that squeaky clean sound. And like I said, I always wipe off in the same direction. I don't want to, if there's any grain on there, I don't want to cross grain it. And you can already see from back here, look at that hood. Put out. See what I'm talking about? That's a good finish. Now I'm going to go over it with the platinum finish, and I'll show you. And then I'm going to put some carnauba on it. So that's why I said this video is going to be long. But we're only doing the hood. I'll do everything else off camera. So platinum coat. Make sure your thing's close so you don't sling the stuff all over the place. Shake it up real good. Like I said, this guy sits months in between me using it. Whoops. Because of the time frame it takes to build. But it's like purple in color. It's really cool. And I just take my finger down in there and I get enough just from that, and I drop it on the floor. So that's cool. It goes into the abyss. We'll find it later. But then I just give it, work it all around real good. And believe it or not, guys, your fingers are the grittiest surface known to man. Even though it doesn't feel like it. And you take your fingers and go across a freshly finished car, and you're going to leave scratches just by your finger. So that's why I like to put it on there and rub it around a little bit, and give it, give it a few minutes. Because like in, real cars, there's oils and pigments and paint. And that's why you always want to wax your real car at least once or twice a year, because you're putting those oils, and if you use a color match wax, you're putting the pigments back into the paint that it needs, that the sun and Mother Nature beats out of it, via the sun and rain and snow and all that. So always give it a chance to sit. Right when it starts hazing, that's when you want to put the little wand on it. And we're getting a little bit of that now, so here comes the noise. Check your pad again, run it, put your finger on it, knock the heavy stuff off if there's anything on it. We're good. And here we go. And this I'll use a circular motion, and front to back, just like before. Slow RPM. We don't want no high speed. This is high speed for this scale. This would be equivalent, I don't even know the RPMs of the big buffers nowadays. Everything changes. But this is, at 1.5 on this thing is more than what you need. I've tried 2 and 3, and every time it ends in disaster. So I'll back it off and let the RPMs build back up and then come back on it. No pressure. And once it works that wax out of there and polish, it picks up speed on its own and does what it's supposed to do. Oh boy. I'm liking it. You know, while I'm doing this, remember guys, you know, thumbs up, thumbs down, leave your comments. If you disagree with me, send me an email. We'll hash it out. Hit that bell notification. Tell all your friends, family, you know, just come watch a video, drop me a sub. It all helps. I'll let that build back up, and then we'll go over the whole thing. Heat also helps. You don't want to get too hot, because that's when you'll melt through. But you want enough for it to do what it's supposed to do. I never use this, I always hand polish. And I took the leap of faith and tried it. I failed a couple times. That's why I always start with a hood. It's the easiest thing to redo if you have to. So, I recommend this highly, this method. I've seen other guys do it with a cordless drill. And there's bigger attachments in the set that you can put in a drill and do that. I'm not comfortable using a cordless drill doing it. This is more fitting in my hand, and I feel like I have more control. And at this level, control is key. Alright. I hate noise. Trusty dusty cloth, and then same way. Now this isn't as imperative that, you know, you go one direction now. At this point you can go, you know, round and round if you need to. You're just getting all the excess off there, because when I come back over it with the carnauba, it's going to pick up anything that's in there and get wiped off too. And then you just got to come back after everything dries out and hazes out and get all your wax out of any cracks or crevices. And your phone is your best tool, because you can get up so super close you can see where it's at and where you know you need to get to and get it off there. Some judges will walk around with a magnifying glass and look at crap, so you know you don't want wax down in the cracks. Same way with crap. You don't want crap in your crack. Get it all out of there. Alright guys, well, I couldn't be happier. I see one little spot, but I know that's a flaw, and I can't do nothing else with it. So here's the final reveal before we put some carnauba on it. You want to know where the flaw is? It's right in here. And you can't even see it, hardly. There it is. Boom. But just looking at it, you can't see it. I mean, if I sit here and go like this with it, then yeah, I'm going to find it. Now keep in mind, that's why I just one coat of paint underneath, because I come back through here and paint all this, you know, a flat black to resemble the cloth. I do have the aftermarket cloth stuff too, but this isn't predominant enough to get it to sink down in there and be, you know, flush with the edges. So this will just get painted. But yeah. So we'll throw a coat of carnauba on this real quick. Let me get the can. Gotta get it open. Where's my thingamajigger? Ah. I'll show you what this looks like. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen plenty of waxes. It's just like a gel, big tub of gel. This will last for years. I even use this on my car. Well, I drive a truck, and I just rub my finger in there like that. Get some nasty on your finger. And then just like I was waxing it, I come back through and I apply the wax. Now this, I will let haze before I take it off. Because the only other thing I'd ever put on this, and I probably will before Jay comes down and picks it up, is a coat of the Novus 1. We have that. So you see it here. You can take it off at this point too, but I like it to start hazing a little bit before I take it off, and you can get it to haze by blowing on it. hair dryer. Just don't get close to it. Stay away from it. And then, start with a good clean area of your towel. Just like you're waxing your car. I use circular motion. Come in on the edges. Make sure I don't miss nothing. Wow. I've impressed myself. Usually at this point I'm cussing because I've burned through something and I'm like, crap, I got to start all over again. And I've managed not to do that on this, which is really, really good. Especially for you guys. And don't get frustrated if you do burn through and you got to start over. At least it's just the hood. It's not the whole body. I mean, I've not even begun to start, polishing on the body, but I'm going to apply the same method that we did for the hood, to the body. And hopefully I end up with the same results. Because that's why I take my time. It's stressful enough. And if you got high anxiety levels to begin with, you're really going to, bug yourself out before you get going. So don't do that. Just relax. Get you a drink. If you smoke you a cigarette. I dip. So, I put fresh dip in before I start. Usually I put music on. You kind of get in the rhythm and, you're paying attention to what you're doing. And usually you get really good results. If I had burned through a little spot here, I could touch that up and put a little dab of clear over it and let it level out and be good. I want to wipe you guys a little bit here. There we go. So, then just give it a good shining. All right, that's good enough shake. There you go. Look at that shine. We've been working on this for 34 minutes, but I've been going slow to show you guys. You can knock this down in 15 minutes. That's done. That's ready to go. I could get in there and pick out those little marker lights or turn signals, and this piece is done. I can set it to the side, and I ain't got to touch it again until I set it down on the car. But that's the results you'll get if you just take your time, do the steps. Good products, good tools, always makes everything come out a lot better. But there you go. So, we'll call it quits here, guys. Let me get you back up in here. Stuff out of my way. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it. I'll give you an update tomorrow and show you the body, good or bad. And we'll touch base, and then we'll go over what came in from Richard Petty's team. And we'll do an open box review of that. I've already looked at it. We did find an issue. Mark is rectifying that as we speak, which is awesome. And that's a good thing about Salvino's. They will get you replacement parts out, immediately. So, we're going to be delayed on some things on that, but we can move ahead with the whole project. It's not going to stop. It's like a final piece that goes on the car, or pieces, so it's not a big deal. And it's not, Mark's fault. It's not my fault. It's sometimes things like that happen. And you guys just got to be, calm, cool, relaxed, be a grown up, do the steps, contact the manufacturer, show them the defects, and, wait for a response, and then they'll get the parts out to you. They want you to be happy because they want you to keep buying their products. And they're going to say, well, you bought it, like a used car lot would be. It's your baby now. They're not like that. So, you may be mad and it's frustrating, yes, and you got a time frame. Usually, as bad as it is to say, when you're in a time frame and you're trying to build something for a show, and it's going to take 2 or 3 weeks before you get the replacement parts, buy another kit. Because the replacement parts you can use out of that kit, and then when the other ones come in, you can put them in with the kit you robbed the parts from. So you're not out nothing. The worst case scenario is you sell the kit because you don't want another one, and get your money back. But that's just a little food for thought. a little mental Monday on Thursday. Like I said, I hope you guys like it. Hit this thumbs up, thumbs down, the bell notification. Drop me a sub. Let me take these off for a minute. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Like I said, this one's winding down. When it's done, will be just the 3 videos a week, guys. And I'll try to combine everything in each one of those videos. That way it frees up 2 extra days a week for me to focus on building. 3D update real quick. I've got some new files I'll be working on this weekend for the 572 and a 632. I don't know what I'm going to do with those yet. I don't think I'll release any of those. Some of it's the same stuff, just a little different style. So it's not, it's not anything really better or worse. It's just a little bit different styling. So there may be an option in there, and we'll see. I'm still hunting down a LS and an LSX and some options for those. So, I know you guys like those different engines. If you want one, they're still available. Hit it down in the descriptions where my email will be. Hit me up, let me know. I'll give you the price. Again, all the intakes are the same price. And I can say this comfortably. The intakes are $5 a piece. The engine itself is $15. That's shipped. So if you want a stock engine, it's $15 shipped. If you want a different intake, you're getting the stock intake still, plus an extra intake in case you change your mind or whatever. That's $20 shipped. That's comparable to what the other ones are, but you're getting 2 options at one for each one, because I print my engines out with the stock intake and everything on them. I don't like Joel does and other guys combine that and sell the 572 with the twin turbo, or that's the only option you're getting. You're getting an extra option that you can either use on another engine, because believe it or not, these 3D printed parts will fit on another big block model kit engine, like it comes in the Chevelles, the 396. That intake will fit down on there in the single carb, and you can use it for a different build. So you're getting 2 options, and the shipping is costing me almost $6. So because I found a different way, but it's still $6. If I go the other route, it's $10. So you're saving $4 by going this route, and you're getting double the intake and the engine kit, for $20. So I think that's fair. The other ones are $20 plus shipping, so you're saving $5, $6, $7, whatever they're charging from where they're at. Because I know when I buy them, they cost me almost $30 by the time shipping's said and done. So it's worth it. It's saving you a few bucks. It's me being able to do something for you guys. Maybe I can work a better deal in multiples. I shall try. I'm not gonna say no, but just let me know. Like I said, the email will be down there. Head over to Mark. His link will be down there. Find you something at Having Not Models, some MCW paints, paintbrushes, model kit, used, new, pre-owned, whatever you want to call them. They're all there waiting for you to go there and find you something. And that link will take you right there so you can shop and have at it. Ryan, his links are down there. Like I said, you go to his Cults page first. You'll see all the wheels that he's ever made. They're on there. I don't know if you can buy them in the printed form. I need to look into that so I can let you guys know. But I believe you can. I'm not positive, so don't hold me to it. If you pick something out, you could buy it and it's printed and it's shipped to you. Or the file, if you do 3D printing, you can get them and print them for yourself. Or if that's not the availability, you just let me know. Like I said, just get the style of wheel. If it has a number next to it, get that number and pass that information to me via an email. I'll get with Ryan, and I'll find out if they're even available, if he prints it or who's printing it, and I'll get that information back to you. That way you can get in contact with whichever person's doing it, and you can get the set of wheels you're wanting. And then, like I said, when we hit that 1,000, we're having the giveaway, about 850 mark, somewhere around there, 850, 860. You guys will know exactly what the prizes are. The first place prize is a little different because he or she will have their choice of 3 colors of paint to pick for their model. I've picked out the model and all the other stuff, so they're basically getting a really, I call it a high detailed kit. There is higher levels, but they're getting a very well detailed kit. The paint, a set of Ryan Jones's wheels, and a 3D printed engine from me, and some options, and a bunch of other stuff to go with it. So they're going to have a really nice, kit to sit down and start working on. Second and third place will be, they're not going to be equal to the first place, but they will be a nice gift in themselves. I don't want to give any teasers away yet, but we will when we get to that level. That maybe that'll spark some interest in my channel and get some more people in here, and we'll get this choo-choo train rolling down the tracks. But again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. We'll see you guys tomorrow for our bench update. This is Rusty Rotor. I'm out.